Hello, everyone. This is Mike Mullis with the original Next Level Gaming podcast, and I am here tonight. It's just a duo with me and Enrique, aka Areezgamer. How you doing, brother?
Mike, I'm doing very well, thank you. My Redskins, though, not so much.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that, man. I'm probably
Yeah,
gonna make some. I'm probably gonna make some of my Giants friends mad tonight, but I was really hoping they'd go 0-3.
I was too, but yeah, the Skins have issues, and I'll just leave it at that.
Well, don't worry, my Ravens have issues too. I don't know how in the world. I don't know how in the world they're favored by 2.5 points this Sunday against a team that's had their number for the last 3 years. It's got to be just because they're playing at home. But
That's what it is. They're giving them the home advantage.
yeah, Bengals have to be pissed though.
Yeah, they have to be.
So, man. Well, thanks for joining us on a kind of special night. It's been kind of a rough couple of weeks as far as scheduling goes, but Tuesday night was the beginning of my Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur, and so unfortunately we didn't get a chance to podcast, but I kind of wanted to do something this week because we have a lot of news to cover and some really interesting stuff that's happened, and so it's just the two of us flying solo tonight, brother.
Yep, Mike. I hope you're nourished, though. I mean, didn't you have to fast for like 24 hours?
You do. You fast from sundown to sundown, and
Oh man,
I'm back at it. Hey, let me tell you, the older you get, the more you
yeah.
do it, the easier it gets. It wasn't as hard this time.
Wow.
But I'm cleansed and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I don't know if I could fast for 24 hours, to be honest with you. I don't know. I'd probably end up cheating.
Well, some years I have, but not this year.
Oh,
My son's 10. When he turns 13, he'll join in, and I kind of want to set a good example for him. So,
absolutely.
You power through.
Yep.
But yeah, so we have this special podcast we're doing tonight, and then next week we will have the entire Intrepid team back. We'll have Amber and Brian for a full podcast next week, and going back to our regular Tuesday at 10 o'clock time. So whoever joins us on our live podcast tonight, that's great. If not, hopefully everybody listens to it later on when we get it up on YouTube. So let's start with some water muddying or rippling, I should say. So Phil Spencer's been in the news this week, and he's had had a couple of interviews with some of the bigger media, and has brought up some interesting things. One of which is about the console wars. So that's what I want to start off with. Now, Enrique, you know me. I am a big opponent of the console wars. I hate what's going on these days.
Yeah.
It's just I can't fathom how we're arguing over pieces of plastic. And this is coming from someone who was very engaged in those very console wars in the old days. But I've kind of outgrown it, and now stepping back, I can kind of see just how ridiculous console wars are. And so Phil Spencer actually finds it distasteful. And here's what he said. He was on one of the websites. He was doing an interview with GameSpot, and when he was talking about, when he was asked what keeps him up at night, he says, "The one thing I find probably a little distasteful in the discourse around games is the divisiveness that people try to build between platforms. It becomes more about what piece of plastic I own than what games I'm playing. It becomes more about somebody else failing than the things I love succeeding. I don't think that's a good place for our industry." And then he goes on to say, I know that it's not everyone, and it's easy to find the pockets of that vitriol, and I kind of think that it is gaming. But I'm not going to embrace that. I'm going to actively push against it, he said. Now, you and I know, and I think most gamers that are on social media or on forums, I think they know who he's talking about.
He's probably talking about a certain forum that believes it's the center of the gaming universe.
Oh yeah, that's the 6-letter word. And it's
Sometimes
funny.
it's a 4-letter word.
Well, well, and it's funny because I have been good. I have stayed away. I haven't been lurking on there like I used to. But whenever something like this comes up, I immediately have to go because there's reaction. And sure enough,
I don't know why you do it to yourself.
well, no, this I wanted to see because I knew as soon as he said that, and as soon as that made it out in print, I knew where I was headed because I knew there would be a reaction. And darn if I wasn't correct.
Oh boy.
And so, I found some of the funniest, I would say, nonsensical reaction to what he said, and it fits. It kind of fits what that console war is all about to him. And thankfully, I don't know about you, but I don't see as much of it anymore because on Twitter I have blocked a whole slew of people that engage in this crap.
Yeah, I don't see that much either anymore. I mean, it's, I stopped following some people that were really engaged in it, but I don't see it as much. And it's crazy because some of this stuff, like especially on social media, some of the arguments are happening between people that are older, people that are our age, and they're arguing, like Phil said, it's not about what game I play, it's about the plastic that I own, and that's what they're arguing over.
Well, and I find this is bizarre. It's not so much that I have to win; it's that the other one has to lose. And there are some people out there on both sides that are talking about the positives of the console they have a preference in. Because look, I think that most people probably have a preference. Everybody knows what mine is. But some of those people are now coming back to talking about their platform of choice without taking shots at the other one. And I think and I find that fine. There's a lot of good to talk about if you're an Xbox gamer. There's a lot of good to talk about if you're a PlayStation gamer. I think there's a lot of hopeful good talk if you're a Nintendo gamer. But it doesn't have to come at the expense of trashing the other person or, trashing the other side.
No, I agree. I mean, you can have a good conversation about your console of choice without having to say, well, my console does this and the other console does not, therefore that console is shit. That doesn't even have to be mentioned. I mean, and we all have, our console or preference. I know I do. I'm a multi-console owner. I mean, I primarily do game on my Xbox One. That's been my console of choice, but I also have a PlayStation 4, and I enjoy them both. And that's the focus of my gaming. And what gaming really is that enjoyment piece, the entertainment piece, enjoying software, regardless of what platform it is. To me, that's what gaming is really about. And I think that's what he's really touching upon, that it's not about plastic. And he talks about games. He mentioned games, that it really is about games and not about plastic. And, I just feel like this console generation has been kind of, I think this is worse than last gen. And that could be because of social media too. When the 360 and PlayStation 3 launched, I mean, Facebook wasn't as what Facebook is today.
There
and
was no
neither was
Twitter.
Twitter.
Right. Well, there was no
Yeah.
Twitter.
No.
If you wanted to get gaming news, then, and in fact, YouTube wasn't around either. If you
No, it wasn't.
wanted to get gaming news, you went to a site. So you went to a site like Next Level Gaming, when we had, you know, a full-on news section, a full-on preview section, a full-on review section, and you know, we had, you know, this is one of the things that, you know, is so different now for us than it was back then. You know, everything was written, and you know, if you wanted to argue and fight, you did it in a forum.
It was
And
System Wars.
right, you did it.
Yeah.
You know, you did it in forums,
Yeah.
and there wasn't a bunch of people on YouTube, you know, spouting off. There wasn't Twitter. You know, you came to the sites, you read what you wanted, and you know, you talked to your friends, of course, but it wasn't nearly what it is now. I mean, you could do IRC chat back then if you really wanted to. Get in it with people.
Oh, boy.
But I don't know. I feel like social media has really pushed this whole thing forward.
No, I think it has too. I mean, you know, you have people now on YouTube who, you know, are feeding the console wars. You know, adding fuel to the fire, and that's something, like you said, we didn't have last console generation. So it's, you know, it's kind of a black eye thing to the industry, to see this stuff going on, and it's gotten probably more exposure, like you said, because of social media, which is why I enjoy what we do, because we're not, you know, when we talk about the Xbox or the PlayStation, you know, we're never really comparing the two directly. You know what I mean? So,
well, we do sometimes. I mean, obviously tonight there's some stuff that we're going to talk about that, you know, kind of talks about the you know, where Sony is going, where Microsoft is going, and whose ideology might win out this holiday. But you know, what we don't do is we don't say, well, you know, this console is trash. This console has no games. This console, you know, we don't call people Xbots and ponies, and we just, there's no, I don't think there's a positive to that. I mean, some people get all excited about doing that, and some people, I guess they, you know, they do it because they need to, or they enjoy that. I don't enjoy that, and I don't enjoy being in those conversations. They don't. First off, they don't go anywhere. You know, I've never seen either side go, "Oh, you know, you're right. I'm selling my Xbox and getting a PlayStation. I'm selling my PlayStation and getting an Xbox." It doesn't work that way.
yeah.
All they do is fight and argue, and
it's always it's the same argument that they've been having like the last 2 years now.
right. And then it turns into personal attacks and insults, and you know, of course, with Twitter, the English language has just gone out the window, as has grammar. And you know, so it just becomes it becomes a free for all, and after a while, I just get tired of seeing it.
Yeah,
So,
it does get old.
You know, and I think Phil, you know, one of the things that I've read, one of the reactions is, oh well, Phil's saying that now because they're losing, or Phil, you know. Where was Phil when all this stuff was going on with Microsoft?
That's very irrational, by the way.
Yeah, very rational.
I mean, see, this is the problem, that you have people who are just making these irrational, off the wall statements. You know, and then on top of that, it gets validated by what they see, like on social media, on YouTube, or on Twitter. It's crazy.
Well, I think what people tend to forget that Phil Spencer was put into the role of head of Xbox shortly after the Xbox One launched. So you get these reactions of, well, Microsoft's been doing this and Microsoft's been doing that. Okay, fine. Uh, but they were doing it under a different leader.
Yeah.
Phil Spencer has a whole different philosophy, which, look, is good. And I think in some ways is, I don't want to say bad, but in some ways is short-sighted. And we're going to get to that. But for the most part, and I want to make sure I'm clear on this, for the most part, the man's the right guy to head Xbox for a number of reasons. And one of it is the guy plays games, and he doesn't make these outlandish statements like Don Matrick did. He doesn't do these kind of things that the previous folks that were in charge do. And it's hard to attribute, well, this is what this is what Microsoft has done in the past. Well, okay, but you have a new man heading Xbox with a new philosophy, and you can see it for better or worse in a number of different areas. And the attitude coming out of Xbox towards their competition is one of those things. And, I think people lose sight of the fact that he hasn't been head of Xbox all this time with the Xbox 360 boat and, all these other things that go on. And people need to understand that he's bringing his brand of personality, he's bringing what he loves and what his philosophies are to Xbox. So you have to take a look at that at face value, which, I certainly do.
Yeah. Well, he also has a great appreciation for the hard work that goes into this industry. And he mentions that, he said something to the effect that he doesn't wish anyone to fail because he understands the hard work that the guys at Sony, the guys at Nintendo do. Some of these individuals he's known for years, has friendships with. And so you got to have an appreciation for someone who, like you said, he's just a gamer at heart and has a great appreciation for the industry and loves what he does.
And you know what, to be honest, they all do.
Oh, yeah.
This is not, I mean, this is, think back to E3. Think back to Adam Boyes and Phil Spencer sitting on a couch playing games together. Yeah. Think of Shuei Yoshida trying out HoloLens and posting it on his Twitter. And then, the opposite. You had Larry Herb. He went over to try out what was, what's now PlayStation VR. You have, I believe that there's a picture of, Adam Boyes and Chris Charlo with their arms around each other. I mean, these are not guys that are out there with gladiator helmets on, and we know very well that Phil Spencer was the first one to tweet out congratulations to Sony when Bloodborne launched and was a success. And he said, hey, man, I know exactly what it's like to launch a first-party game, in the face of congratulations. He's talked about, he congratulated Sony for the, for their numbers before. I mean, he knows that. I mean, he stepped out at E3, his very first E3, and congratulated or praised Sony and Nintendo's work in the industry. I mean, this is the guy he is, and it's for all the people that say, well, it's just PR, and well, here's the other thing, and this is the funniest part. Oh, well, he says that, and then he makes this deal for Tomb Raider, which, of course, we now know is basically, a bupkis deal. And I'm thinking, well, what does that have to do with fostering the console wars? He made a business deal.
Yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with the other. That's pure business. But, a lot of these people don't understand the business side of this industry.
No, they don't. They look at it from a I hate your console mentality.
Yeah.
And I've seen it today wrongly compared to sports teams, and I've seen it today wrongly compared to what soda you like.
Oh my gosh, I've actually had that conversation a long time ago. Someone did say that. They're
Which
like,
one?
"Oh, it's like rooting for your favorite sports team."
Okay, but I don't wish that the other sports team gets swallowed up by a bomb set by Bane in Gotham City.
You do if it's New England visiting Baltimore.
Well, okay, all right. So maybe if I will admit when when the Patriots played
Tom
the
Brady's in
Steelers,
the house.
when the Patriots
You're
played the
definitely-
Steelers, I said if I can't have a tie, I said Brady would win on the last throw, but he'd get his leg snapped. So I can't say, but he'd still win the game.
Actually,
in all seriousness, though, I mean, I don't really wish that somebody snaps Brady's leg off. I don't, if I go and eat at McDonald's, it's not because I hate Burger King.
Burger King sucks.
Right. I'll eat at both. But these are the things that are being said. These are the actual arguments that are being brought up to to pee on what he said. And it's happening by the same people who are just completely deep, neck deep in the console wars. It's just, and so he's gotten tired of it, and I've gotten tired of it. I know you have.
Yeah, no, I have. And it's easy to get kind of sucked into it. I got sucked into it a little bit. I'll never forget the tweet. I was having a conversation with someone. I think you stepped in and you said, "Come on, guys, you guys are better than this." It was me and I think someone else that were tweeting back and forth with someone else. And I remember you saying that. And it's true. I mean, it's and plus it's such a waste of time. You could be spending that time. And some of these people I see that are engaged in the console war, they seem like they spend more time doing that than actually playing games.
Yeah.
And then you spend so much time arguing over plastic with someone you don't even know. And then it goes back to what you've asked that question, what do you win? If your console of choice is, outsells the other console, what do you win? You don't win anything.
I never got a trophy.
No. I've never got a check in the mail, a trophy, free video games, nothing.
Yeah. And let's be realistic here. Yes, if you are a Wii U fan, that console is not getting any support. That could change next generation with the NX. But some of that is also, Nintendo's desire. I think they're not the biggest third-party friends, and if you go back to the Nintendo Entertainment System, there was a lot that went into why third parties kind of are still leery, working with them. But Nintendo still survives, right?
That was a great system.
It was. I did not, but once I finally got into the Nintendo 64, then I started going back. One of my girlfriends at the time had a Nintendo, so I got to.
One of your girlfriends at the time?
Yeah, I wasn't married yet.
Oh, you made it sound like you had multiple girlfriends at the same time.
Well, player. Exactly. Yeah, nah, not really. But
that's for the After Hours podcast.
That's right. But she had a Nintendo Entertainment System, so I got a chance to play it once I got over the whole console war BS, and I found a bunch of stuff that I liked on it.
So so you were, I knew you were a big Sega fan, right?
Oh yes.
And so when you first turned on a Nintendo console, the NES, were you kind of cringing a little bit?
Remember, I didn't start with the NES. I started
with the 64.
With the 64. I don't think I cringed. I think I was like, I have to try it because Nintendo or Sega's, Sega was really, I don't know what they were doing. You had at the time you had the 32X, then you had the Saturn.
Yeah.
Then you had the whole debacle with the Saturn. So at that point, I was like, let me take a look at the Nintendo 64. And of course, the Dreamcast came out, but by that time, I was still very much Sega. I was not completely immersed in PlayStation yet, although I did end up getting a PSX, and then the PS2 and the PS3. But the Dreamcast, I mean, to be honest, even though I had them all, the Dreamcast was still my favorite. The Dreamcast to me still is my 100% all-time favorite console that will never change. No matter how much I love my Xbox One, no matter how much I loved my 360, no matter how much I loved my PS2 and Xbox, the Dreamcast is and will always be my favorite console. It just is.
Great console.
It really was. It was so great, and it hurt. It hurt to watch Sega drop like it did. And maybe one day we'll go back and do some retrospective on some old consoles and things.
Yeah,
but,
we should definitely do
that. I guess the point I'm trying to make is that if you fast forward to now, no matter how much arguing, no matter how much fanboyism, no matter how much Xbot and Pony and the Xbox sucks, the PS4 sucks, the Xbox, can't do this resolution, the PS4 doesn't have any games coming out. No matter what happens in all of that, neither of these consoles are going away. So it's not like at some point the Xbox One is going to cease to get third-party games. It's not going to happen. They may not get all the marketing deals, and we're going to get to that in a second because this kind of is something that Phil Spencer is, I guess, partially responsible for. But they're going to continue to get the games. I think people need to step back and realize that all these great games coming out this holiday are coming out for both systems.
Yep.
And that's something that Xbox gamers need to step back and realize that they're going to get their piece of the pie. PlayStation gamers, same thing. Go ahead.
No, it's just you're talking about PlayStation, like Xbox fans. They really PlayStation people are going to get games too.
Yeah,
is that what you? Yeah. No, it's, and I hear that argument all the time. And yeah, you're right. I mean, they're gonna, if you only own a PlayStation 4, you're still playing games. You still have games to play.
Well, you have to decide. Also, part of buying a console are the exclusive games that console owns, which is why, if you can afford it, owning both gives you the largest spectrum of games you've got. If you are, but you can't see, and this is funny to me. I say this kind of here and there. You can't be a single console owner and simply say, well, console X is getting this game, I'm jealous. Well, then buy the game. Don't just sit there and be jealous.
Yeah.
Buy the console.
Yeah.
If you really want, then play the game. Yep. If you're really into it, and if you really want Halo, buy an Xbox One. If you really want Uncharted 4, buy a PlayStation. That's how it works.
Yep. That's why I have an Xbox One, so I have a PlayStation 4. But for me though, part of my decision making in buying a console too, especially now with the way the technology's evolved, for me it's also features now. It's not just software content or exclusive content. It's also features.
Well, it is. Now, for full disclosure, that's what drew me to the Xbox with all the features, and it still does. The features are great. I'd love to be. Speaking of features, I'd love to be playing with the new experience dashboard right now, but
That would be
Microsoft
nice.
does not seem fit to allow me in yet. So, I have to wait.
Hopefully not too much longer. I'm still waiting too.
I'm so mad. Let me, just a little sidebar. I'm just gonna say this. I'm going to continue to call bullshit on the whole. Oh, we're picking people who leave feedback and who are active in the preview program in our subset, because I think they've gone through about 3 waves now, and I haven't been in any of those waves. And I fill out. I said this when we were talking last week.
Yep.
I fill out every survey. I fill out every poll. I've done every quest. I've done the testing for the Miracast stuff. I've done, the screenshot testing. I've done all of that stuff. I've done the streaming. Look, we have video on our site, on our YouTube channel, where we have tested, the streaming out before everybody else. For the Windows 10 stuff. So not only are we beta testing all the Xbox One stuff, but we're actively showing off feedback for the Windows 10 side. And so, I understand that the dashboard has issues, and I know that there are some people that are saying that it needs a lot of work. But that's why I got into the program, was to try this stuff out.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to find the bugs, and I'm ready to go, I understand what I'm getting into. I would just like to get into it.
Yeah. My only concern with the Windows 10 beta is that I heard it affects Destiny, the Taken King.
For some people.
Yeah.
I have heard that you can hard reset the system and some of that goes away.
Okay.
So,
that concerns me though, because I'm trying not to say anything about Destiny tonight, but
well, Amber's not here.
I know. I need to talk to her about it too. It's good.
Yeah, I thought you guys were going to do another special NLG Presents.
Yeah, we talked about it, but we need to. We haven't really sat down and talked about when we're going to do it. I need to talk to her about it, but the plan is to do it soon. She's doing the raid right now. Well, not right now, I don't think. Well, maybe she is, but if she can at least do the raid, that would be good to talk about.
Well, when you do it, we'll make sure that everybody knows, and hopefully you guys can get some raids in streamed over on
that'd be great.
On the OG_NL Gaming Twitch stream.
Yeah, no, if we can do that, that'd be great. And actually, I think she just hopped on the Xbox One version like yesterday or today, because I think she's been focused on the PS4 version.
So yeah, I know she's trying to do both.
Yeah, but I think she's grinding her Xbox characters out now. So
that game. See,
I'm telling you, Mike, if you like co-op games, you like gaming with your friends online, that's the game for you. I'm telling you, and it's so easy to level up now.
Man, well, and look, I'm trying to justify it. Money has been freed up. I had money earmarked towards Forza Motorsport 6, and I was very fortunate to actually win a copy of that from a very, very generous man on Twitter, Jeff Bartram. I want to give this man a shout out. This guy does giveaways all the time, and it's not just that he does giveaways that makes him cool, but as a former Navy vet, he does care packages for the Navy, and they're Xbox care packages. He sends them games, he sends them free Xbox Live. He really, but the guy is like a saint.
Yeah.
And we're actually gonna have him on because I'd like to bring him on, and I've already talked to him about it. He's very cool with it. I'd like to get him on to talk about what he does to give back to the military, because that is some of the coolest stuff. And so just out of the blue, you know, I follow him, and I want a copy of a Forza for him. So I have this money that I had earmarked for it, and you know, I've already got the money for Halo 5 and Rise of the Tomb Raider earmarked, and so now, you know, I still want King's Quest because I hadn't picked that up yet. But you know, I can't say that Destiny's not calling to me. You know, I'm thinking about it, and I'll leave it at that. I'm thinking about it. If one day you see me on, it's because I finally jumped over the fence.
And if that happens, you're going to have to get Amber to kind of walk you through.
I'm definitely going to have Amber walk me through. I am going to raid with her, probably first and foremost, with you guys, just so, you know, just so I know what I'm doing. So. See, and there you go. We got to talk about Destiny tonight.
Yes, we did. And by the way, speaking of Destiny, it's the most downloaded game in PlayStation history.
It is.
That is crazy.
Is that not insane?
That's insane.
I mean, I expect it to be at the top of the list for MPD numbers.
Yeah.
I think it's going to beat out everybody. It's you know, I don't know where Forza Motorsport 6 is going to end up this month, because for whatever reason, North American gamers don't buy racing games. So I would be surprised if it charted, because you still have Metal Gear Solid 5, you have The Taken King, and you still have, you know, of course, Minecraft is a phenomena to which I've never seen before. So that's going to chart. Call of Duty still charts. Grand Theft Auto 5 still charts. So I don't know if there's going to be room for Forza, and we don't know. You know, it's so hard. It's so hard to gauge what goes on with NPD and with retail sales numbers because of downloading. Yeah, and you know, I know we've segued into something totally different, but this kind of bears. There was I read this today that The Witcher 3 digital copies of that game are 50% of the revenue they make, and it's 25% of their downloads, of their overall sales. So yeah, 75% of The Witcher 3 game sales are retail, but 25% of their sales are digital. And EA and Ubisoft and Activision are starting to say that the percentage of digital game sales is rising much more than they thought, and it's starting to become a significant number of their overall sales. So until MPD and Chart Track and some of these other sales metric companies start including the digital sales in their tallies, we may start getting some very inaccurate results. And a game like Forza Motorsport 6, which might do well, I don't know. I know for me, there's no reason why it shouldn't. It is an unbelievable game. But it may not make it. And so, you know, it's sort of, it's sort of weird. Now, last month, of course, we had 3 games that charted that were exclusives. We had Gears of War, we had Until Dawn, and we had Rare Replay. I don't know if Forza 6 is going to make it. Now, in Europe, it's going to, but I don't know if it's going to make it here.
Yeah.
Which is sad. So sad.
Yeah. It's a good game.
It really is. I mean, I'm really enjoying it. And we're going to try to... there's so much to stream now. You know, so many things going on. I feel like we don't get a chance to stream all the stuff we want to. Because, you know, just another quick piece of information. The Rainbow Six Siege beta starts today, and I got my code. So I'm in. And so I'd like to... I think... that there
I hope
is
you talk about it.
Yeah, there's no NDA on it, so as long as I can stream it, I'd like to stream it over the weekend so that people can get a look at it. So, and I guess because, you know, a website reported it, get over it, folks. It's 900p on the Xbox, 1080p on the PS4. It's going to be the same game. It's going to look the same. It's going to be great. Rainbow Six is my jam. So don't bother me about the resolution. And that goes right back. I mean, that goes right into the console war thing, is that whole resolution BS. So, and you know what? And these sites, these media sites, that they feed into it too. And that, you know, one day
they do it for clicks. I mean, you know, a lot of it's, you know, to drive revenue for themselves. More clicks, more revenue.
Drives me nuts. Probably drives Phil Spencer nuts too.
Yeah.
So, all right. So let's switch gears, and let's talk about this PlayStation 4 Call of Duty 3 bundle. That
and you called it.
I said it was happening.
You said it was happening.
I did. And now it's a 1 terabyte console, and it's a custom console. Not the most aesthetically pleasing console I've ever seen. This thing is, I don't want to say it's hideous, because it's not pretty.
The controllers aren't pretty. I can actually deal with the console itself, you know, with the Roman numeral 3 on top, but the controller, I think the Destiny and Star Wars customized consoles look better.
Yeah, I kind of do. The Destiny console looks just pretty.
Oh, that's the best looking one.
I know a grown man shouldn't say pretty, but here's
that's okay in this case.
Here's the console. Now, I'm sorry, but that controller to me looks like a toy.
It does.
It looks like something that it almost, you know what it looks like? It looks like that generic toy that you get, that generic game system that you get for
that plugs to your TV.
That plugs directly to your TV.
Yeah.
And I get what they were trying to do with the top there with the 3, because of course, you know, if you look at the Black Ops logo,
yeah,
that's the Black Ops logo. I get that.
I like that.
Understood. I'm not sure about I'm just not sure about the orange on the black.
Yeah, I kind of like that though. I do like the orange on the black with the letters or the numbers, but I'm not digging the controller.
The controller is weird looking.
Yeah, it doesn't look pleasing to the eye.
No.
Yeah.
But you know what? It doesn't matter. That's the thing. It doesn't matter, because the console, that particular console may not sell as well, but look, PlayStation's gonna mop up with Black Ops 3 this holiday, for a couple of reasons. Number one, they're gonna have the airwaves, but I think that people have underestimated how important the esports piece is. You don't have a choice if you want to play competitive Call of Duty in these upcoming tournaments. You don't have a choice. You have to have a PS4 because that's the console that they're going to play it on. So how many pro players are going to learn it on an Xbox to just go and have to play it on a PS4 in a tournament where money's at stake? I just don't think that's happening.
Yeah. I'm not so sure if it's going to. I mean, it's going to do well, but I still feel like it still is something that's associated with the Xbox because so many people, and that's one of those titles that's such a big seller because of the casual gamers. I mean, this is one of those games that the casual gamers pick up. The casual. I always say casuals play or buy a couple games a year. The Maddens, the NBA games, the Call of Duties, and the Grand Theft Autos when those come out. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to, do better on the PlayStation 4 because of the marketing deal and everything else compared to the Xbox. Only because that franchise has been associated with Xbox for such a long time, and a lot of these people who own the Xbox 360 are probably going to pick up the game. They're probably not going to, buy a PlayStation 4 just to, get the exclusive content.
Yeah, but I think it's going to depend. I think, if we look at this, they're really right next to each other as far as their pre-orders right now. At least if we're looking at Amazon. Now, GameSpot has said that the hype and the excitement over the game is at an all-time high. And now they didn't give a split, so they actually didn't say, well, the PlayStation version is out pre-selling and things like that. However, they have said, or at least Activision said, that the PS4 beta is the largest beta they've ever had on there. Now that's not saying much because really this has been the new generation for betas, so it's not necessarily saying much. But I don't know. This is one of those things where I've seen enough of the market now to kind of understand that I think people are going to flock to where the marketing is going.
Yeah. Well, to me that goes back to, it's a Call of Duty is a multiplayer game, right?
Yes.
It's been associated with Xbox for a long time, right?
It has. It absolutely has.
And so are you going to leave Xbox Live, your friends that you play Call of Duty with, because of the marketing deals on the PlayStation?
I think it depends on if you're a pro player or not.
Yeah.
I think pro players I see, and here's the thing, they don't have a choice.
Well, don't.
They don't have a choice. If they want to play, that's where they have to play.
Yeah. But I'm talking about the casual base. I mean, and that's the casual base is the ones really the group that drives those numbers, to those astronomical heights, in terms of sales.
Right. But watch those. Okay. So, casual gamer walks into Best Buy.
Mm-hmm.
All they see, just like with Batman, remember what you saw with the Batman bundle. That's going to be tenfold with Call of Duty. I mean, there is no way that I would be surprised. I mean, I almost feel like they're gonna make stores hide the Xbox version. I mean, that's obviously not gonna happen. But I mean, I feel like everything is just there's just a such a push that I haven't even seen. I never saw this push from the Xbox side when the Xbox had it. I mean, we're talking about. I mean, the esports, because remember too, esports is going to be broadcast on TBS now, ESPN. Imagine imagine that casual gamer turning on ESPN and watching this and watching nothing but PS4. I guess for me, I bring this back to whether or not it was a mistake for Microsoft to let this thing go. And here's something that I want to kind of go along with this, because people have continued to kind of tell me that, well, he didn't let it go. Activision's going where the market's going. I don't believe that. I don't believe that Activision took a multi-year partner on somebody who had millions of dollars and invested, highly in their product, and just said, well, you're not leading in sales anymore, so we're just going to whoever's, selling more. I don't believe that for an instant. No. I believe that I have always believed that Phil Spencer walked away from that deal, and it kind of bore out a little bit today for me, as part of Phil Spencer's going around and talking to people. So we talked about what he said to GameSpot about the console wars. He said to IGN that he's not really big on third-party exclusives. He doesn't like them. He says, and I'm paraphrasing, as he has, kind of settled into his role as head of Xbox, he doesn't like them. And so I think he's walked away from a few things. It seems to me like he could have had something. He could have had Assassin's Creed Syndicate. If he wasn't gonna take Call of Duty Black Ops 3, I feel like Star Wars Battlefront was a ready-made Xbox game. It's online only. I'm sorry. Let me back that up. It is multiplayer focused only. There's no campaign. There's like no single player campaign. This is built like Titanfall. And yet, that and Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed are all being marketed on PlayStation. All three of them. These are three big games. They're all being marketed, and people have said to me, because I've made this point on Twitter, and people have said, well, if this means that they invest in more first-party games, that's great. It is, and I don't want to discount what Phil Spencer building up the first party studios, and the Halos, and I can't count Rise of the Tomb Raider anymore, because obviously that is a multiplayer game. Yep. So I can't count that. But Recore and Sea of Thieves and Scalebound and games like that, I applaud. I honestly do. These are all games that I'm going to buy. They're all games I'm supporting. I have no problem with that. But there's no reason that you can't have a balance. And that's where I think I said earlier that there are things that Phil Spencer is very strong at, but there are things that I feel like he's a bit short-sighted at. And that balance between third-party deals and first-party content, I think he doesn't quite get the importance of it. And I don't know if he's got people around him like Sony does. Sony's got an entire team dedicated to third parties. Microsoft used to have that. It used to be Peter Moore at one time. Microsoft doesn't have that anymore. And so he's just looking at all the great things he's doing first party, which is awesome. But he he doesn't understand, I think, what having some of this third-party marketing helps with.
Well,
Go ahead, because
no,
I
I
want
was
to
gonna
get
say
to another.
that's a great point about having a balanced approach. I mean, I think it's funny you mentioned that because I was kind of thinking about that. Um, tonight before we came on, that the first party stuff is great, but and we talked about this in a previous podcast. I think Brian had brought this up that a lot of people, gamers, do buy a lot of third party stuff. They buy the Call of Duties, they buy the um, Assassin's Creeds, the GTA 5. So, I think any little bit of advantage that you have in terms of content can't hurt, you know?
No.
And so having first party exclusives and have a deep library of first party and then supplementing that with third party. And that's not to say you need to have every, third party, exclusive content deal, whatever.
No.
But having a good mix so you can offer a variety of options, let's say, to gamers.
And
That's not a bad thing. And not to say that not having a Call of Duty, Black Ops 3, not having that deal is a terrible thing for Microsoft to not have, but it wouldn't have hurt it wouldn't have hurt to have it either. It would have add to the strong first party lineup that they're coming with this holiday.
my issue is Call of Duty is still a large game. I think that if you are going to turn that down and allow Sony to have that marketing, which is going to be all over TV, it's going to be all over print, it's going to be all over storefronts. If you are going to give that up, you need to have a plan in place. I love Halo 5 and what Halo 5 is going to do. I love the Halo series. Halo is going to be huge.
Yeah.
Halo is not going to do Call of Duty numbers. It can't. Because you can't get it on the PS4. So by some rule, you're not going to sell as many copies because look, the Xbox people on the Xbox are going to buy Call of Duty as well. But you need to give some mind share. Right now, Microsoft doesn't have the ability in advertising on television, on storefronts, in print to say, yes, we both have Call of Duty. But you can have Call of Duty and Halo. They can't do that. Now, PlayStation can't say, well, look at all these great games coming up that we have in the fall. So they have to lean on this deal. Wouldn't it have been great, though, for Microsoft's mindshare to be able to market Star Wars Battlefront if they didn't have Call of Duty?
Yeah.
I mean,
especially with that movie launching this holiday.
Right. Sony is going to dominate. Unfortunately, they're going to dominate the airwaves. You can only do so many ads for Halo 5. But Sony's going to be able to put out ads for Assassin's Creed, Battlefront, and Call of Duty, and Microsoft's not going to get a piece of that. And it seems like he's gotten to a point to where he doesn't even care about the deals that he's got. And I point to this GameStop thing that happened with Madden. So, as people probably know, and if they haven't, I'll recap it for you. GameStop decided they're not selling console bundles that have digital games in it anymore. Now, I get why. They have a legitimate reason, because that takes away a source of resale for them for trade-ins. Okay, fine. So instead of offering the actual Madden bundle, which is an Xbox bundle that Microsoft paid EA for.
Mm-hmm.
GameStop decided, well, we're going to do a physical. When you come in, you get it. You can get it physical. But they also will allow you to buy a PS4 and get Madden for free, physical. And they advertised it in print, going against a deal that Microsoft had with EA. And basically, you saw buy a PlayStation 4, get Madden free. Now, if you don't think for a minute that that had some effect on NPD numbers this month, you're fooling yourself, especially with GameStop being the largest retailer that they track as far as video games go. This is just fact. I mean, you can sugarcoat it. You can say, well, it really didn't matter. Yeah, it does. And the fact that Microsoft did nothing about it tells me that they just don't care. And I think that's a problem for them that they don't yet realize coming into the holiday. Again, let me be clear. I love Halo. I, like everybody else that owns an Xbox, hopefully, is buying Halo 5. All right? I'm buying Rise of the Tomb Raider, like I hope many Xbox gamers are going to support. But, you need to have a couple of these other third-party games in order to at least get people to look at the Xbox that might not, just based on Halo.
Well, last holiday, those bundles, those deals with Assassin's Creed, I forget what other bundles they may have had last year.
Call of Duty bundle.
Yeah, I mean, those were
Warfare bundle.
Those were big system sellers, and they were priced right.
That Assassin's Creed bundle, which had Black Flag and Unity in it, continued to sell through like March. I mean, that thing kept selling.
Yeah.
So they're not talking up. They've got a marketing deal with Fallout 4. They're not talking that up. Or at least they have some deal with Fallout 4. I don't even know if it's marketing, but a lot of what you've seen there, you're just now seeing some Rise of the Tomb Raider and previews, and we're 2 months away. Excuse me. So, I don't know.
Like a lot of that may have been because of Halo 5 too, possibly. I mean, that's the one first party game that almost sounds like a huge third party game in terms of numbers.
But do you think it's going to be able to propel? And so here's the question. And you know what? I also want to pose this to the people who are listening. So, please comment below. Do you think that Halo and Rise of the Tomb Raider, and let's throw Forza in because Forza is the other. We are in September. Do you think those can propel Microsoft's mindshare and unit sales over the PlayStation 4 for this holiday, with the PlayStation 4 being able to market Call of Duty, Star Wars, and Assassin's Creed? I'm not sure. I know that Halo has pull. I know that Halo's 7 million or 65 million. They're 5 million strong. I think with Master Chief Collection is what I've seen. I'm not sure if that's completely accurate, but if it's even close, Halo is still a monster game. No doubt about it. But can Halo, because Halo is the flagship. Rise of the Tomb Raider is not the flagship game because it's not an exclusive. Sorry, it's not an exclusive. So Forza 6 and Halo 5 with the timed release of Rise, can that be enough to combat Call of Duty and Star Wars Battlefront? you know, and don't forget the Taken King. We're not even, we
just
leave
brought up
that out,
Destiny.
but we leave that out. But that just released, and you know what a giant game that is.
Yeah.
How many PlayStation 4s is that going to sell?
Amber was saying that the what was it? The PlayStation, the Destiny Taken King Special Edition console was sold out in what, 2 days?
Right.
Where she works, yeah.
Yeah. So that's my thought on this, is that I think,
I think it comes down to price, Mike. I mean, that's the other thing too. I mean, that was the advantage for them last holiday. I still think in the holiday, because again, we're dealing with casual shoppers, casual gamers, whatever, and they're looking for deals. They're looking for, they don't know about the P's. They don't know about anything else like that. They're looking for deals.
okay.
They know that when they walk into a Best Buy, whatever, they're going to know that, Assassin's Creed's on both consoles. So then it comes down to, okay, so which console is going to give me the better deal? Which one's priced better? Which one offers me, a free game or something? And that's really what also propelled Microsoft into, winning holiday last year. I know a lot of people that went out and bought, the Xbox One because of the bundled software, the price point, over the PlayStation 4 for that reason only.
Yeah, why are they waiting now? Because the console still has been cheaper over the course of the year. And if you look, both the Call of Duty bundle and the Call of Duty 1 terabyte bundle, I think, is $399. I'm going to check that while we're talking. But the Star Wars Battlefront bundle is $449.
Mm-hmm.
The Xbox One's been $359 with games. You've had the Master Chief Collection bundle. You've had they're packaging Gears with it. I mean, this isn't a price war that's just now happening. So that's really,
we also got to keep in mind though, like a lot of people aren't buying consoles until holiday.
Right. Okay. So that Black Ops. Well, this is true. That Call of Duty Black Ops bundle is $449.
Mm-hmm.
Now
comes with free maps.
Right. Now, Microsoft. Yep. If I were Microsoft, and I don't know that I just don't know that they care enough. Honestly, I honestly don't. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. And if you got and Phil, Aaron, Larry, if you guys are listening, this is how I feel. I'd love to have believe me, that's a conversation I'd love to have with them, because I would love to know what their thinking is. I'm telling you, if I were Microsoft, I would be talking to GameStop rather, and I would say, hey, look, remember what you did for Madden? Why don't you do the same thing for us with Call of Duty? Because you're right. Price means a lot. And if you really think about it, if you don't want the special console, you can get an Xbox One, probably still with Gears of War, because they were bundling that in, and Call of Duty Black Ops for less than what you could get this 1 terabyte PS4 for.
Yeah.
If you really want to play the game of, and look, they've done this in the past. Whenever when Destiny launched and when Batman launched, and they ran their buy an Xbox, get a game free, but they never named the games you could get. They said any game, and they were hoping you could wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Oh yeah, Batman's part of that too. Oh yeah, Destiny's part of that too. This time, if it were me, I would do whatever I could to say, buy an Xbox One, get Call of Duty Black Ops 3 free. Not call it a bundle. You can't do a bundle. You can't do a custom console, but call it by name and say, you know what, get it less expensive.
And they could still do that.
I don't know that they will. I don't think they will. I think they're banking on Halo being their big push. I just don't know. I've been in this business of watching the game industry and reporting on the game industry long enough to see if marketing didn't matter, Microsoft wouldn't have done it either in the beginning. It mattered, and it matters now. If it didn't matter, because remember, even without these marketing deals, with the exception of Destiny and Batman, beyond those marketing deals, the PS4 is still selling better. That's a fact. If that was all that Sony cared about, they wouldn't have spent the money on Call of Duty either. They spent the money on Call of Duty and they spent the money on Star Wars Battlefront so that gamers that haven't gotten to jump into the next gen yet, or are new gamers that haven't played previous gens yet, get to see the Force is strong with PlayStation. To get to see the home of Call of Duty is PlayStation. That's what they're paying for. If it wasn't important, then they wouldn't pay for it. That's where I think, and I've said this before, I said this on a previous podcast, and I said it a little earlier. This is where I think, Phil, bless him for wanting to show off first-party studios. He's the former head of Microsoft Studios. He wants to do that. That's his thing. I get it. Not having one of these games under your belt for marketing, I continue to think it's a mistake. And I think it's a mistake that's not going to get fully realized until the dust settles in January. Mm-hmm. But I think people who are expecting that Microsoft's going to kind of walk away with the holiday season because they've got Halo and because they've got a timed release of Tomb Raider and because they've got Forza, I think they're in for a shock.
And pricing.
Unless
Sony does something, at the Paris Game Show or at their PlayStation Experience regarding price.
I don't know if I see it, but let me put this out there. I mean, they're already dropping the price in Asia.
Yeah.
They've confirmed to drop the price in the UK. These bundles are 1 terabyte bundles. Could they drop the price of the 500 gig unit?
Yeah, they could easily knock another $50 off that.
Because that would bring that to $359.
And if they do, then things get interesting.
I mean, interestingly enough, remember how much the Halo 5 bundle is? Most places are selling it for $4.99. Now you get a ton of stuff with it.
Yeah, you do.
But the Call of Duty bundle is cheaper than the Halo 5 bundle.
It is.
So you have to decide if you care about the Steelbook and if you care about some of the extra stuff you get with the Halo 5 bundle. And as a custom console, it's a great looking console, but it's $500. The Call of Duty console, whether or not it's, god awful ugly or not, if that's what you think, is still $50 cheaper. So is the Battlefront bundle. So, that's something that's going to play into the price game. The 1 terabyte console itself is $349. I think. No, I'm sorry. The 1 terabyte console is $399. Especially if you get like the Madden bundle, the FIFA bundle, they're all $399. So even their 1 terabyte consoles have not hit the $359 range yet. So what if Sony at Paris Game Show said, well, all of our bundles are currently what they are because they have priced their bundles already, but effective immediately, our 500 gig models are now $359. I mean, that's a potential issue, especially if they run a free game.
Yeah.
So now let me give you the opposite end of that. Let's say Sony does that. I think Microsoft would then come back with a $299 standalone system.
You know, if they did, I would imagine that it would sell well. That tends to be the sweet spot for casuals to buy consoles by the droves. That's when they start adopting next generation consoles, typically.
Well,
at $299.
It's funny because I have a bet with somebody on Twitter that he bet me a tasty hamburger that Microsoft was going. Yes, I wasn't going all out dinner deal, but I told him I'd buy him more than just a fast food burger. We bet that he says that Microsoft's going to put a $299 Rise of the Tomb Raider bundle out there.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening.
No,
I could see a $299 standalone console, but I don't see a $299 Xbox bundle of any game. I don't see it. I don't see it being any game. I think all of your bundles, even if they decide let's do it with the 1 terabyte console, which I think would be a good move. I think if you want to fight the PS4 bundles, one way of doing it would be to make the 1 terabyte console a $349 console with a packing game.
Yeah, that would be a great deal.
But I don't think, or you package, and you could do it at $399. I think you package EA Access, a year of EA Access with every console, not just the FIFA and the Madden bundles, with every console. Every console gets you a free year of EA Access, especially because by the time that those consoles and those deals come out, and this just a little tidbit for you, in October, it looks like Battlefield Hardline's coming to EA Access. So you're going to have 11 games.
Ooh, I know what I'm getting.
Yeah, I played that in early. Plus remember, you get all these games early. So Battlefield or Battlefront, rather, you're going to be able to play early. You've already been able to play Madden early, PGA early. You get to play NBA Live early. So if you pack in a year of EA Access right around the time that Star Wars Battlefront is coming out, and you can say, hey, guess what you get to play first? And I would name it. I would say it by name. I would say, hey, you're right. They got this cool bundle. They got a cool looking console. You get to play the game first over here. That's how I would battle it.
Yeah.
Will they do that? I don't know.
We'll see. I mean, it's going to be interesting this holiday for sure.
I just think people that are expecting that Microsoft's just going to walk away with the holiday sales, I just think I don't know. I think they're in for a shock. And I do think, going back to my original point about what Phil Spencer said about third-party marketing, I think he needs to go back and rethink that. I think somebody needs to get in his ear and say, listen, we need to get some of that too.
Yeah, I agree. There's got to be balance, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah, balance is key, and I think balance is how you get all this back. I mean,
you look at PlayStation 2.
Oh, they had
They had third party, they had first party.
Yeah, they dominated both sides of the aisle.
Yeah,
it's like a football game when you dominate both sides of the ball.
Which the Ravens are doing right now.
Well, neither are the Redskins.
Or the Redskins. I can't say anything.
No, I would like to see. I'd like to see the first party stuff, but I would like to see some balance, and I think I think that's what they need to do. We'll see. I don't know. I'm less optimistic about things now than I was before all this before that. I guess before, I don't know, before Microsoft decided to kind of give up on third-party stuff. We'll see.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, like I said, it's
Man.
going to be an interesting holiday, Mike. I mean, it's definitely interesting. But this is, this for me, this is the beauty of having two competitors. And at the end of the day, we benefit from all this stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking, by the way, of Star Wars Battlefront, just skip into this. The beta for that is coming on October 8th, and that beta will be for PS4, Xbox One, and PC through Origin, through EA's PC platform. So it's open to all. Nobody's left out of the beta. Which, you know what? Let me give kudos for that, because
I hope this doesn't end up like a Battlefield situation. I
think that's why they're beta testing it.
Oh boy.
Well, although they beta tested Battlefield 2, and that
they did.
So
they did and I did the beta on Battlefield, and I was like, oh, it's just a beta, and then it was released, and I was like, oh boy.
Yeah. That's why I didn't buy it. Of course, then again, I got it with EA Access, so it's kind of good that I didn't buy it.
Peter Moore, call him. Tell them to make sure they get their shit together this time around.
Yeah, I kind of trust him on this. So, real quick, here's what's happening. This is a technical test according to EA. It's going to run from October 8 to October 12.
Dedicated servers?
Yep, it is open to all, so nobody gets it first, which, again, I think I give them kudos for. There are going to be 3 modes. The Walker Assault on Hoth, which everybody has kind of seen by now, and that's a 40-player battle. So according to the official, I'm going to just read it out, fight in an epic 40-player battles as a rebel to destroy the Empire's onslaught of AT-ATs, of course we know them as AT-ATs, by calling in Y-Wing bombers. Or side with the Empire and protect your walkers while utilizing their mighty weaponry to crush the rebel objective, which everybody knows except for Amber. Cover your ears, Amber. This is a spoiler alert. We all know they go after the shield generator on Hoth. So that's one mode.
I want to crush rebels with my walker.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah. And of course, we saw at the end of the demos that were at E3 and such, that you have Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker. Hopefully, they will be in that mode. That would be cool.
That would be cool. But something tells me that they won't let us enjoy that.
The second game mode is Drop Zone on Sullust. Escape pods are crashing down, and you and your team must fight to control them. Frantic 8v8 matches. So there's that one. And then there is a survival mission on Tatooine. Play alone or with a friend via co-op or split screen as you battle to hold off waves of Imperial forces, including AT-STs, TIE fighters, elite stormtroopers, and more. So, also, in addition to the Star Wars Battlefront beta, you will get a chance to try out the Star Wars Battlefront Companion experience, which is available during the beta only at StarWarsBattlefront.com. The Star Wars Battlefront Companion experience features the strategic card game base command and lets you earn in-game credits that unlock star cards, weapons, and more. Yada, yada, yada. So, the thing for me is the beta and the EA Access early play will determine whether or not I actually buy this game. I'm still, if I'm being honest, I'm still not totally sold.
Yeah.
I'm not, actually. There's just, I don't know, without a true campaign, I don't know.
Actually, I'm thinking about passing. Only because it may be just passing for the time being, and maybe just putting that in my backlog or my to-do list of games to play. But with Destiny right now, Halo 5 coming out, Rise of the Tomb Raider, the Nathan Drake collection.
Yeah, don't forget about that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's something I'll be able to squeeze in. I honestly, if I'm going to play online multiplayer, it's going to be Halo 5. But yeah, that's my go-to for online this fall holiday.
And don't forget, people who buy the Nathan Drake collection are going to get into the Uncharted 4 beta.
Yep.
So, I mean,
It's one of the reasons why I'm picking it up.
yeah. So now we tweeted this out too. My good friend Arnie Meyer, who is the community strategist over at Naughty Dog, he used to be when Next Level Gaming was a website. He was kind of a, they call it not third party, but he was he worked for a third party PR company for Microsoft, and he was very, very instrumental in getting us off the ground as far as not dev kits, but debug units for Xbox 360 coverage, which then led us to getting our good PlayStation coverage and then getting third parties to support us. So Arnie has been a good friend of mine for a very long time, and so now that he's at Naughty Dog, hopefully I'll get him to I'll sweet talk him into maybe helping us out with some ability to cover Uncharted. No promises, but I'll see what I can do. But he had retweeted out some information he put out about the Nathan Drake collection and the beta. So the just so people know, there is a single player demo for the Nathan Drake collection coming out on September 29th. And then, of course, the game launches on October 9th. And the beta for Uncharted 4. And now, you also, by the way, have to have not just the Nathan Drake collection, but a PlayStation Plus membership. That beta is December 4th through December 13th. So get ready. If you, of course, buy the bundle that they have, and there's another bundle coming out. The Uncharted Nathan Drake Collection bundle that's coming out too. Yeah. So, you not only have the Star Wars and the Call of Duty bundle, you've got a Nathan Drake bundle coming. So you have that to deal with. If you buy that, of course, you're going to get into the to the beta. Here's an interesting question, though. So I talked about how GameStop won't sell bundles that have digital copies in it. I wonder if they're going to sell this bundle. Because if you go, and here, I'll show it to everybody now. It's the beauty of, this is the beauty of having Google Hangouts, is to be able to do this. So this is the Nathan Drake Collection PS4 bundle. Note what it says right off the bat. Uncharted the Nathan Drake Collection game voucher. So I'm assuming that this is a digital game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if GameStop's not going to sell this bundle either.
Probably not.
That's what they said. They're not selling.
They're not
selling games that have digital games in it. There are bundles that have digital games. They're only going to sell. Now they may go ahead and make their own bundle with the game, but I wonder if they're going to sell this one.
Yeah, probably not. I don't know. Maybe that'd be interesting if they did, considering all the as Amber says, fluff.
So anyway, so that's the Uncharted portion. I don't know how I forgot how I got from Star Wars to that, but that's basically the story on the Star Wars beta and the Nathan Drake beta. So, couple more quick things to talk about. One on the VR front. So, Shuei Yoshida said, I'm sorry, it wasn't. I'm not sure it was him. I think it was Andrew House actually. Andrew House in an interview about PlayStation VR in around the TGS unveiling of Morpheus turning to VR, PlayStation VR. He said that it's going to be priced as a game platform. So it's looking like it could run around the same price as the PS4 itself. My question to you, Enrique, and to our listeners, who, again, I'd love to have them comment below, is that too costly? You know how I feel about, first off, you know how I feel about VR in general.
Yes,
and HoloLens.
You're all in.
Yeah. If I could be the opposite of all in, that would be it. I'm all out. I'm folding this hand. So on top of the fact that I think of VR as a gimmick, we know that HoloLens is going to cost probably, like a small computer. And PlayStation VR, just like Oculus, is going to cost in that probably that $400 range. Is that too costly for this thing to be a mainstream hit?
Yes. I mean, the only people that are going to pick that up at that price are going to be the hardcore gamers. It's not going to appeal to casuals because of the price. And not only that, you have to have the PlayStation camera, right?
Yes.
And you have to have. I feel like I'm missing something else.
Well, you know what though? You used to have the Move and the camera.
Well, I think you need the PlayStation camera. That's like $60.
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah.
And something that we have to, go back and look at. You can use a DualShock controller. I don't think you need the PlayStation Move. I think you could use a controller. I'm not sure.
No, I think you're right.
You might need.
I don't remember, but
I mean, because so it has sensors in it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got an accelerometer and a gyroscope and a magnet meter in it. However, I think if you wanted to add tracking, like skeletal tracking, you're going to need the camera. That makes sense, right?
Yep.
So, I don't know. Even if you didn't have to buy all that, you still have to buy the PS4 if you don't have one already. So now you're talking about an $800. It's again, HoloLens is right out for me. I mean, I'm not spending that much money. Again, less Worms comes out.
less Worms on the. What about Worms on Oculus?
That's not enough for me. Oculus. See, Oculus. I'm sorry, but Oculus to me is even more gimmicky than even the HoloLens, because all that is projecting the screen in a virtual cinema. Basically, I could turn the television off and play the game on the Oculus Rift, but there's no VR happening. There's nothing. I mean, that to me is even more of a gimmick. I'm not spending $400 on a miniature television in my head. Oh.
Well, I don't know if you saw Samsung's Gear VR is like $99.
And that's not compatible. So I don't know. The whole thing, to me, it goes back to 3D. I got 2 pair of 3D glasses sitting in my cabinet, and they're not the red and blues. They go along with the TV I have. I've used it once or twice. And you know where those glasses sit?
Probably in the cabinet like mine.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So, once the VR experience wears off, you know where my PlayStation VR, my Oculus Rift, or my HoloLens would be?
In the box with the other stuff that you don't use anymore.
Right next to the 3D glasses.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't see it. People want it. That's fine. I'm not going to tell people not to buy it. I'm just saying I'm not interested.
Yeah, I'm not closing the door on VR yet. I want to see what else they're going to come out with, but with the price point being at close to what a game console costs, it's too much money.
It's good. I think it will remain a niche item.
Well, it's going to until they can. Ultimately, it's going to until they can hit a good price point and really get it to appeal to a broader user base. And I think for the time being, it's just really going to appeal to casual gamers, or not casual gamers. I'm sorry, the hardcore gamers.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where the casual gamers are going to jump on board with that at all.
They're not going to for a long time.
So, well, no, little Johnny's not going to get his mom to buy it. That's for sure.
Oh, hell no.
No. So that's, again, we'd love to have people comment and let us know. I want to hold off on some of the Halo 5 talk until next Tuesday when Brian jumps back on and Amber's back, and we'll get a look at, there's a lot of new previews coming out, and there's been a lot of new Tomb Raider stuff out, and I want to kind of let all that soak in. I mean, obviously I'm buying Rise of the Tomb Raider. It looks gorgeous. It looks like it's going to be, kind of the next step in Lara's evolution.
It does.
I'm just no longer calling it an exclusive. That's the only thing I'll say about that. Because it's not. I'm no longer calling it that. It is now officially a multi-platform, cross-platform game.
It's just timed
with a staggered release. How's that? So just to go over what's going on with the YouTube channel real quick before we wrap this up, we have some new reviews up. Brian gave us a really nice review of Journey, where, look, if people have not seen that review yet, please go to our channel and check it out. He really went cerebral with that review, and it kind of even. Go ahead.
He got deep.
He did. He caught me by surprise too.
Like, it was very well thought out, very deep.
Yeah, people have to check that out. We also have a review of Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time, which, folks, if you have a PC or an Xbox One, this is just, that game is so great. It is
Spencer gave it a shout out.
It is one of the coolest co-op games that you're gonna find. It is different. It's nothing like you've really ever played before. It works well single player. I've been playing a lot single player, but my wife and I played a lot too, and some of our Twitch stream was her and I. And you gotta play this game. I don't even know how else to tell you. It's such a great game. I also want to give a quick shout out to David Amador. He is the developer of Quest of Dungeons, and I am saying the name correctly. It is called Quest of Dungeons, even though in the review that I gave for the game, I accidentally called it Quest for Dungeons. It is actually Quest of Dungeons. Just a real nice thing the guy did. My son, who is 10, he's about to turn 11. He plays on the Xbox One as well. And I came home one day and he said, "Dad, I found this game on here, Quest of Dungeons. I love it. It is awesome." And he put he's put a good 15, 20 hours into it. He spent one night in a car just explaining the whole game to me beyond what I played and reviewed. And he was just, much, much better at it. So I let him know. I emailed David and I said, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know, what my 10-year-old said." So he sent my son a T-shirt, a Quest of Dungeons T-shirt, all the way from Portugal, and that's the first thing that he's ever received, and it's like a first real gift he's ever got from somebody not his immediate family, and I thought that was just a really nice gesture. So, David, thank you very much. Your Quest of Dungeons was a game that when I started playing it, I didn't understand it, and I think I told you that I wasn't like real hip on it.
Yeah.
And then I started to realize the type of game it was, and that I was playing it wrong. And then to watch after my review, to watch my son play it, I appreciate it a whole lot differently than I did when I first started playing it. So, I'm not saying that strictly, again, because he sent my son a T-shirt. I'm saying that because that's what my son's reaction to it that got him the T-shirt. And, it was just another really a good game from a single man dev team, army of one. So we have those reviews up. Of course, we have your volume review, which I still think was great. And if you haven't seen that review, check that out. And we have a couple things coming. So what's on your docket?
I am working on. You know what, Mike? I'm drawing blanks now because it's midnight. Hold on. Oh shoot.
Team 17. It's all right. So your next review.
Shoot.
Beyond Eyes.
Beyond Eyes.
I'm telling you. Yeah, Beyond Eyes.
I was thinking Blues and Bullets, but that's not.
No, I'm doing that one.
Yes.
So you have Beyond Eyes. I have Blues and Bullets. Now we know Beyond Eyes has been out for a while, but Team 17 did. They were kind enough to supply us with the code for that. We just got it a bit late because Gamescom and vacations and stuff. But we want to honor that with reviewing it, so we're going to get that done. Blues and Bullets, which I have started playing, and so that's different. I don't know what you've seen on it, Enrique, but it's I don't want to directly compare it to Until Dawn because I think that they're two somewhat different games, but I see some similarities in what you do. A brief synopsis: in the game, you play as retired Agent Elliot Ness,
which is cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
20 years retired. In fact, in the game, Al Capone is already out of prison, so he didn't die in prison like the actual story, but he actually is out of prison, and Elliot Ness gets caught up in a story that I'm not going to tell, but most of the game revolves around you. I almost want to say it's like part Until Dawn, part LA Noire, where you get to walk around and you look at clues and you walk up to something and you hit the A button. There's not a lot of gameplay. It's you walking around an interactive environment and getting clues and things like that. There's a little bit of gunplay in it, but it's not like first-person shooter or anything like that. It's almost like a third-person Time Crisis kind of thing. Where you're behind cover and you pop out and you shoot and you pop back. It's a different pace of game. Yeah, you know what? It kind of does.
Yeah.
It's got
visually it does.
Yeah, it's got that black and white look with and I don't yet know why because I'm still making my way through the game, but there's red all around the game. So it's black, white, and red. And I don't yet know what the red is. I also haven't, I'm on my first playthrough, so the review's going to come probably in a week, maybe a little more, because the way this game works, you make choices. When you're talking to somebody, you have multiple ways that you can carry a conversation with somebody. And there have been times when I've made a choice and the actual game says, you've made a decision. And I'm willing to bet, just based on what I've seen, that picking different things gets you different story branches. So I'm going to play through it probably another time, and the second playthrough we'll stream it, and then we'll review it. And I'm curious to see if the timeline changes based on different things, you know. But yeah, it's different. I'm enjoying it. It's not for everyone. I'll say that. If you don't have patience, you're not going to like the game. So, but yeah, so that's what we've got going on. And of course, you know, once we get through these, then we'll start on a new set of game reviews. I would like to review Forza 6 for the channel, so we'll probably get that rolling. And then we'll do a lot more. We're getting some good support from people, and you know, the more content that we can bring, the more we're going to record. So, all right, I think we're going to wrap this puppy up. Enrique, do you have anything on the docket?
No, I actually wish Starbucks is open right now.
Well, it has been a long week. I feel like I've been out of the house all week. You know, a Jewish holiday plus tonight. You know, and so I'm glad. You know, hey, look, I'm glad we were able to roll this tonight.
Absolutely.
And again, next week we'll get back on our regular schedule, which is Tuesdays at 10. So you guys know, those of you who can listen live will be able to. And so, not having anything else, I'm going to go through.
You know what? We didn't talk about Destiny tonight a lot.
We did.
We mentioned it a little bit, but we didn't go like in this whole.
No, we did.
Yeah.
Because I don't play it, so I can't talk about it. I don't know anything.
Oh yeah.
We'll be looking out for your you and Amber's special edition NLG Presents on that.
Yeah, and hopefully, Amber, if you're listening, we got to get a raid. We got to get a raid together. Get a raid party and beat Crota's dad. So I know I've been watching some of the podcast videos on the raid, so it definitely looks challenging. I think and I know one of the things that was frustrating Amber is a lot of people have been quitting out through the raid, which doesn't surprise me. That particular raid looks like it takes a lot of teamwork, a lot of patience.
I had no idea what you're talking about.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't.
You know what's interesting about the raids on Destiny? Bungie actually incorporates some platforming elements. So there's almost like puzzle solving and jumping from platforms that are moving in different directions and are invisible and stuff like that. So
all right.
Wow.
Well, hopefully you guys will get a chance to talk about that.
Yeah, we'll probably talk about it on Tuesday.
Probably.
Yeah.
Hey, just one other small little thing. I don't know. This is probably more for parents. It's a little bit of Xbox One news that I just saw. Do you let your kids on your PC? I know my oldest has. Do you let them play Roblox? You ever heard of Roblox? ROBOLOX?
That's the what is that? Where you like make a game?
Yeah, it's like it's semi Minecrafty. It's like it's kind of like Minecraft a little bit. And people make their own games, and then it's built. It is kind of built more for kids, even though there's some I don't know, there's some content that I don't let Jacob play. They're getting a little bit more out of the Minecrafty kind of stuff and kind of getting into more of a how do I explain? They're doing more than just, you can build your own little house and fight zombies, which is where it started. It kind of looks like they're even getting a little plastic bricky, kind of like I don't want to say Legos and stuff like that because it's not a Lego game, but it's sort of getting a little, sort of looking a little bit like that.
Yeah.
And people are doing things like making roller coasters and things like that. So if you're a parent and you're listening to this podcast and you know about Roblox like I do, you will be happy to know that Roblox is coming to the Xbox One this holiday. Now that was announced today. Actually, it was announced yesterday, but I just saw it today. It's going to be free, and they're going to start by launching with 20 of their highest rated games and the most popular ones. They're being updated by their creators for the Xbox One controller and for TV. And then in 2016, they're going to start adding some of the other games. And eventually, what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it so that at some point next year, the people who create these games, they'll automatically populate on the Xbox One. So for those now, I don't know these games myself, so I can't speak to them. However, if you know anything about Roblox, the first games that are going to be out at launch are Heroes, Super Bomb Survival, Tiny Tanks, Bird Simulator, and Coalesce. Again, don't ask me what they are. My son could probably tell me. I haven't told him about this yet. So, but for those of you who are, like I said, if you're a parent who does allow his or her child to play Roblox, here it comes for the Xbox One. So, that news. All right. I think that wraps it up. Again, do you have anything else you want to throw in there?
No, other than Halo's about a month away.
Yeah.
Halo 5.
Yeah, next week when the whole Intrepid team is back, it's going to be Halo. It's going to be Halo dive-in time.
Yeah, we got to talk about, especially with that new trailer that came out.
Yeah, and some of the new gameplay that's been shown in the blue team stuff. Yeah, so I want to get Brian and Amber in on that. So. Yeah,
I'm blue team all the way.
Yeah, I haven't chosen yet.
You must choose a side.
I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I might keep my choice a secret. Because my choice because it matters, right?
It's gonna be part of the Halo launch.
Right.
What side would Mike choose?
Right. That'd be part of the commercial. Find out what StingerNLG's side is. So, exactly. All right, Enrique, thanks for joining me tonight, brother. It's good to get this out.
Absolutely. I mean, it's great to be back on this week and talk about games.
Absolutely. So as always, we thank our listeners, those who listen to us live tonight, and then those who are about to listen to us on the YouTube replay. Listen, comments down below. Let us know what you think. We've had, these couple of times where I've seen one or two dislikes, the thumbs down. That's fine. Not everybody's going to like what we talk about. At least if you do that, tell us why. Send us a comment. If there's something that you don't like that we're doing as far as the format of the show, let us know. We're here for your viewership. We're here for you guys. We're here for our subscribers. Let us know what what you like, what you don't like. Let us know about the content. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you agree with what Phil Spencer said about the console wars? Do you agree with my assertion about the PS4 and holiday, or do you agree with Enrique? What do you think about PlayStation VR? Let us know. Also, subscribe to our channel. Of course, the more subscribers we have, the better content we can bring you. Follow us on Twitter and on Twitch. Both of those are at, or it's just on Twitch, just follow us at OG_NL Gaming. And, look, we're doing quite well. I like where we're headed with what Next Level Gaming is doing. We're trying to follow the legacy of what I brought to the table 8, 10, 12 years ago. And, Enrique, you're a big part of that. So I always appreciate everything you're doing for, reviews and Twitch and the podcast. So thank you.
No, absolutely. My pleasure.
So, and we will see everybody Tuesday night at 10 o'clock. Until then, I'm Mike Mullis. This has been Enrique Castellanos. And this has been the original Next Level Gaming podcast. Everybody have a great week, fantastic weekend. Play on, gamers.